Greetings, I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal, and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together! Woohoo!
The devil scoffs. He hasn't seemed to notice the chains falling from us yet.
It's because he's too close to the floor.
Next, I suppose you'll tell me about the power of love. I don't need to change. I'm already perfect.
Props for self-esteem, sir.
I mean, like, people change naturally on their own. Love is not exclusively I make people change territory.
Additionally, a supernatural being doesn't necessarily need to change at all. A force.
Yes.
How about that?
Nadia sighs and shakes her head sadly.
I truly pity you. You will never be better. Never be more than yourself.
So what are they, then?
But also better? Do they become better? Are these changing?
Does that actually equate to better?
Growing?
Can you actually call something that literally never changes as has the potential to be better, or isn't basically best as it is, so therefore actually doesn't need to become better or worse, it just is?
Again, I think
Or is that equal
a lot
the
as,
best?
as forces. So, does the wind become better?
Right?
Can the wind become better if someone loves it?
Right? Well, and it's also kind of like, so the thing that is funny here is going like, I really do wish they had more involved in regards to, like, cultural background, history, like, religious beliefs or whatever else, because it's like, yeah, so you could just be like, well, based on our understanding and our interaction with the Arcana do change according to some people.
And changing is good for them, or we assume that...
Is a natural process?
It can be sort of one of those things also where not all gods are static things. Now, the Greek gods in very many ways are. They repeat cycles, they don't learn, they don't grow up.
Yes.
Which is why
they
you have
are
the problem
also, though,
with... They're meant to be flawed. They're meant to represent and mirror humans, if you will.
but also they're usually tied to, like, specific elements.
Yes.
Based on my understanding, and actually one person put it another way of going, there are lots of other gods that also, though, are tied to, like, whole stories. They aren't just one thing. They're a whole encapsulated, like, complex...
Well, Zeus isn't just about lightning and thunder.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, but the thing is they're more of people than they are of a force for a particular function.
Right.
Right?
And I would like to know what that would be here.
Right, and the thing is here, if they are more like forces, which given, like, if your personality is like this, you have an affinity for this kind of idea, it would be like, they feel like they have a real specific kind of shape.
Which is really weird, because so language changes, so therefore the very nature of the Arcana would change, because people's interpretation of what would fit into those particular things would actually change. Like,
or not
even
necessarily.
just based on a basic linguistics level, like, I'm serious.
I would say,
that would...
Yes, culturally their interpretation would change, and or their place for where they put them would change, but the Arcana may not change. In the same way that you can call wind different things and understand it over 1,000 different years, 100,000 different years, but the wind still is the same function.
Yes?
It just depends on what they are.
And it also depends also on what your priorities are. So sometimes, since people are incredibly people-centric, so therefore they're very human-biased, as it were, you could be like, this thing never changes. The entire planet that continues to revolve and does various different things and has enormously billions of different processes going on, looks at you and raises an eyebrow.
The planet is like, dude, I was orbiting completely differently 100,000 years ago, excuse you?
And that's, again, it's like, it's a matter of opinion. What are you talking about? What does change actually mean?
You actually make me think of something there, and I think we'll wrap this up, but because we've kind of, like, beat it into the ground, they're not going to tell us more about these things, even though people do seem to know a lot more about them.
Which is hilarious.
And there does seem to be a mythology and or a belief structure, pick one, I don't know the proper name, behind them existing and what they are and what they do.
Right.
If they, in fact, do rather than be.
Yeah.
I was going to say, but it reminds me of talking about filtering them through your human perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a thing that people talk about when they're studying animals and, wildlife and such.
Are we talking about anthropomorphization?
We are.
Yes.
Okay, and the thing is you filter what you see through your own understanding of things, and most people tend to humanize animals aggressively. There's one video that I'm thinking of right now that is really, really a good example, because it's very, very simple, where this person goes, I've got some video of a duck feeding the fish. It's so charming. It's so cute. And you have this duck sitting with a plate of food, and they get a mouthful of the food, and they put it in the water, and the food scatters everywhere, and all the fish come up and eat it, and then the fish wait for more. And they're like, and isn't it charming? Sometimes I just want to feed the fish, and seeing a duck want to do that too is very, very sweet and cute. It can make sense. The thing is, the food is dry food. It's not necessarily kibble, but it is a dry food. Ducks require liquid to swallow.
Yes.
The reason, like the way they work as waterfowl is they need water to swallow. So the duck is grabbing a mouthful of food and then getting water to be able to eat it. And it happens to be a messy process that loses some of the food.
Yes.
And the fish are taking advantage of that. The duck isn't actually specifically interacting with the fish at all, so much as that's what happens.
Yes.
Because the fish are opportunistic.
And that is actually really true. So without the knowledge of basically the science that ducks literally fucking require water in order to swallow, you would go, oh, they're feeding the fish. No, they're not. They're trying to feed themselves, and they have so much food, they're not super concerned about the fish stealing the leftovers that they lose.
And or keeping it in their mouth very particularly. But the way they feed in the water, that's not what they're designed to do. There's plenty of food.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of, they have
So I was
lots
going
of
to say,
feeding
so
beaks.
what could be happening here is that whatever, we're only seeing Nadia's perspective because no one else is talking about this.
Right.
And she could just be filtering it all through her own idea of you're like a person, so I have person priorities that I put onto you. People should be changed by connections and relationships, and you don't get to have that. How sad.
Yes.
So let's put it that way, shall we?
Yes.
More than yourself. As if a person in a relationship is then more than themselves, because we are now a unit.
And also at the same time too, that is the priority, is to actually get involved.
You can't be. You cannot see past your own pride. Are we saying that she has seen past her own pride and that's how she's in a relationship?
Wait, was she pride? What?
No, I mean,
Okay,
if
I'm
she's
fine.
projecting, anyway. But I've learned something in all my journeys, short as they were, in comparison to your millennia. How do you know how long he's had?
I think millennia here is sort of like a generalized experience, maybe. Like your millennia, like I'm saying millennias.
I guess I'm just doing basically, I guess I'm just doing a basic going, do we think they've always been there, like a creation myth kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we think they have an age?
Well, again,
We don't know
literally,
anything.
we don't even know what their culture is. Anyway,
But I would be very curious,
Yes.
going in world of the Arcana, do people think the Arcana were created,
Mhm.
or they've always been there?
and they were the things that made
Do they
the
have
world.
origin stories?
Yes, but we've had that discussion. Remember?
Yes, yes.
Oh, and what was that exactly? Nadia stands, the chains falling from her. I rise to stand beside her, free and light.
We do not describe the devil moving at all. He's still crouched down, his hand empty now of Nadia's chin. He looks up slightly at us, but I do not comment.
He looks confused.
He looks confused. My hand is empty. What happened? It's never too late to change. Oh.
The devil staggers back a little in shock. For the first time, we've truly caught him off guard.
Okay. I still love that effect with his eyes.
hang on. When did we even mockingly catch him off guard?
Or like.
Because that implies that before we've tried to catch him off guard, so we had the intent to. Because so that language is actually really particular.
I was just saying,
for
when
the
did
first time, we've actually managed. Wait, what? We've truly caught him? So we were trying to catch him off guard before?
Or we have falsely caught him off. We haven't really caught him off guard before. It's only seemed that way. He's only played at it.
But I'm also like, when did we ever
no.
try to catch him off guard?
I don't
Or
know
when
if we
was he
have.
ever, quote, pretending to be caught off guard?
Or, yes, untruly caught off guard.
What?
I don't
Caught
know.
him off guard. Impossible! A mortal has never been able to escape my bonds!
It's because it's rope chains. They're very hard to decide what to do with one way or the other.
And you know what? If you're not looking at them, they become nothing. So therefore, they are a state of, they are a Schrodinger's cat chains. They both are on you and they are not at the same time because they cannot decide what state they're in.
Schrodinger's bondage.
Yes!
Until now. Give up. Devil, you've lost.
Aye. Just because we're out of chains doesn't mean it's fine. The devil snarls, the whole realm shifting around us in response.
Swoosh.
Fire licks up the walls, hot tendrils lashing out at our skin. Every pillar, every arch grows taller, the shadows grabbing at our legs like living things.
We have shadows and fire. The fire is maybe not on the pillars, and it's on the walls, and the walls are casting light on the pillars. Maybe you just have two objects.
It's okay.
interacting with
It's a
each other.
surreal experience. In
It is.
any case.
I love the idea, though, of just like infinite roof. Like, just, it keeps going up forever.
Like, also, what if it's just basically what your character thinks is basically shadow, because they can't have any other words for it going, well, it looks like this thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think it's actually shadow, but I appreciate you calling it that.
Yes.
Living thing.
Living, not dead. I may not be able to bind you, mortals, but I can still obliterate you!
I'd prefer to bind you and use you as a source of nutrients for myself, but if I can't, you can just burn.
I'm sorry, the Schrodinger's bondage is that way?
Yes.
Nadia chuckles and bends down to pick up a length of the chains. She offers me one end. I love how slow this is going right now. Like, he's literally like, bah! And everything is like, I'm gonna walk like this. Slowly.
We are now the
Wow.
shambling monster to
We
his
are.
flailing, basically, object of destruction.
Yeah, this is really strange.
To his flailing victim, if you will. Interesting.
It's all okay. So the other reason why I'm critiquing how slow this feels is because the sentences are actually very long and drawn out. They're not like sharp and clipped. Basically, where most authors, in regards to trying to convey action, will actually jump from one action to another and really won't give you any time to process, and even the character, as it were, because this is first-person perspective, like be able to process what's gone on. You know, with
Because
all
you're
those
just
emotions.
being jumped from knowledge, from stimulus to stimulus, because it's all happening so
fast. And this
sounds like
really
it's happening quite slowly.
Yeah, because you're like, Nadia chuckles, bends down. It's not like Nadia
grabs the chain.
laughs, reaches out, yanks up a chain, and throws the other end
Even
at me.
shorter. Nadia laughs as she yanks the chain from the ground. You know.
She throws an end at me.
Yep.
Like, it's really like you're trying to do short sentences to convey, like, action. Like, make it jump more.
Shall we show him what us mortals can do, Corazon?
Can you actually do something?
Yes, we can do lots of things. I'll show you later in my bedroom.
That's not the question I asked.
Oh damn. But we haven't been horny for a few frames. Can I give me like a little bit of leeway?
Okay, yes, I should.
Excellent, perfect.
I think we should. I run my hands over the chains. This is like
I pet them. I stroke them.
enchanting them.
Schrodinger's bondage is that way, but is it though? Oh,
I mean, this is really weird. Like, this is so slow. What is the devil doing? Enchanting them.
Also going,
running my hands.
the fire and the tendrils and the shadows are all reaching out for us, but they're really far away because it's taken a long time to get here.
It's like time slows down. I mean, honestly, if you put something in there, you go, God, it's like time slows down. I watch each action as it comes towards me, and I can see it all perfectly.
I was gonna say, that would actually add a lot, something simple, even though of time suddenly stands still. I see the devil, I see the flames, I see the shadows.
Yeah.
And Nadia reaches down, grabs the chain, and hands me an end.
Yeah.
Like, that would change the context of this lengthier writing, and the fact that you have time for conversation and such.
I know!
While it sounds like there's a raging inferno with incredibly fast things racing at you.
And also, I don't know why the devil would just be there yelling and not doing anything. That seems very strange from him.
From the floor to reach up at your feet, like, you're on the floor, aren't you? Shouldn't they just
we
be...
said we stood up, remember?
No. Your feet are on the floor. You're not floating.
Oh, yeah.
So shouldn't they just be grabbing you rather than reaching at you from the thing you're on?
I have no idea.
Anyway.
Honestly, this is baffling. They shoot out, spreading over the whole realm like a spider web, because I can suddenly perceive that.
That's fucking huge, bro.
The devil lurches forward, fury in his eyes, swatting the chains aside.
Irk.
But instead...
I'm sorry, Irk.
Urkel. Instead of dropping, the chains wrap tightly around his arm. He struggles and thrashes, trying to escape the bonds, but more chains simply wrap around him.
I'm having this odd experience in my mind, like this thing of going, it wraps around the entire realm, assuming the realm has some kind of shape. And my first thing that came up with, because, the Earth is round, and planets are round, this idea of basically the realm being the sphere, where these chains are just like threaded all the way through and around it. And I just pictured this like glass marble with basically these chains, through it, like a resin kind of sculpture thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's this red, fiery, shadowy thing. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Until he's brought down to his knees in front of us, because apparently he stood up at some point.
He didn't just look up, he stood up. Your reign has come to an end.
What?
Was he reigning?
What?
Time to let the world figure itself out. without your meddling.
Wait, what?
Have
what?
you been meddling
what?
over the
How
entire
have the other
world?
Arcana not been meddling? Okay, so if we're gonna go with a theory then of where it seems like there are some Arcana literally tied to certain people and they all seem to be important after some various fashion, that means all the Arcana are meddling. Like, not just him.
Well, maybe they're being passive and he's being active, so they're not meddling, they're just existing.
That's a matter of, I love that where people go, well, but I'm being passive. However, you are literally a particular force. What does passive look like for you guys?
Again, this is her specific opinion.
I know,
So,
it's just weird.
And in this case, it is directly filtered through her, not as any kind of basically cultural zeitgeist or large overarching information.
Except
but
that
I love
based
the
on...
idea of going, the world will figure itself out without you. Going, has he been affecting the whole world, or has he really only been in Vesuvia?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Like, are we saying that he's been fucking with the entire world, which we know from the maps of the Arcana and her discussions of things far away, and, the fact that this is a part of an empire rather than just a contained, tiny kingdom.
Yeah.
That there is a much bigger world out there. Is he in that? Who knows? Anyway,
I know.
without your meddling.
Do you truly think you can kill me, mortal? I'll come for you, eventually!
If we bind you tight enough?
I mean, it's Schrodinger's binding.
Someone else will just show up and bind you again. And still be the devil bound. The devil unbound.
Why do I feel like I'm watching Advent Children? It doesn't matter how many planets, how many Genovas, how many Sephiroths you throw at us. We'll be there every single time to shut them down.
Never sleeping. We've got this.
Yep.
And again, and again, and again.
Are you horny enough yet?
Until you learn your lesson or time itself ends. That sounds vaguely horny, honestly. I'll come for you. I'll bind you over and over and over.
I'll twist
until
you and
learn your lesson.
and wrap the chain around your neck as I wench it tighter
I'll
and tighter.
dom you until you learn your lesson or the or existence ends.
Oh. Okay.
Oh. Don't underestimate us mortals. I speak for all of us. We can hold a grudge for a very long time.
Corazon, well, just make sure you either write it down or have really strong oral history.
I'm also like, we can hold a grudge for a very long time, says a person who believes she's lost 3 years of memory. I'm sorry.
Oh, and also at the same time sounds like she's lost 6 years
Like I said,
of memory or whatever it was.
believes she has. I was like, in a story that has an amnesia plot, where
Yes.
everyone's got missing memories.
We can
hold a grudge forever! You've forgotten the grudge. Shit!
damn!
I feel like I'm so angry about something! Very long time.
Together.
Yes, I love the oral tradition.
Yes.
That's so good, so important.
Because at the same... Okay, so the reason also I put that in there is because me, like a lot of white people, are very inclined to dismiss or basically shit on oral tradition when it's actually been one of the biggest, basically...
Preservers of history throughout
Yes.
time and eternity.
Yes, and it's actually largely been lost in a lot of areas because of colonialism.
Yes.
And because of the value of basically paper and words
The
on
written
paper.
word! And people are like, we've passed these stories down successfully for 5,000 years.
Yeah, fuck you.
And because it's not written down in a document you can pick up and take home and you have to sit here and listen, you're like, yeah, it doesn't.
It's not as good.
It's a story.
You probably, like, made it up, you forgot pieces, it's like, whoa.
It can't be passed down in its purest form. Not like text that was carved into a wall that says, Thelonious was here.
Yeah, right? Together, Nadia and I grab the chains, tightening them around him. Tighter! Tighter! The devil screams, flames sprouting from him like whips, slashing us.
Oh.
Still, I keep my grip strong. And then the chains snap, turning to glittering dust.
Interesting.
For a moment, the devil looks triumphant. He rises to his feet, baring his teeth. He starts with his hand. The dust settles across his fur, turning it to stone. No! It's not over! You haven't!
Yeah.
It spreads quickly until all that's left is a statue, still reaching out to grasp us. The realm falls silent and calm. Did we win?
Corazon, actually, I don't know if that means...
Is that
what that
winning?
means? What does that mean? Is that...
What does winning look like against an Arcana? Hang on, other Arcana, come here for a second.
Also going... We bound
Astra,
him.
damn it!
Do they perform a function?
Uh-huh.
If they do and he's bound, is he still performing that function?
That function.
Or are they just things, entities that are here, and we happen to basically interact with them and don't really think about it?
Right. Nadia turns to me slowly, her lips spreading into a smile like a new dawn, bright and warm.
Yes. Corazon. Because I am an expert on all things Arcana. We won. I know exactly what this statue state is. I've read about it in a book once. I have a huge library. You should let me show you my library in more detail.
Oh, so does that mean that we've held this grudge from someone else?
No, people have talked about binding Arcana. It's a thing. It's a magic thing, I think.
What?
Ask Astra. He won't tell you either.
We won.
Now, let's go home. Because we can't make out here.
Yeah.
Has the flames stopped? Has the realm quieted?
Has the shadows gone away?
Yeah. Has the roof stopped being infinite? Are you even in a shaped building anymore?
1 month later!
Ooh, it's the epilogue, I guess.
I guess.
Uh-huh.
Oh my! I've never seen so many varieties of leeches before.
Some of them are kind of cute, don't you think? Leeches are technically worms. I could do without them.
I'm trying to remember actually if that's
I've
true.
had enough worms for a lifetime.
Ew.
Have you, though? Is the worm problem solved, I guess?
Nadia tugs me closer,
Yoink! We still
Rapid-
have not communicated about this.
rubbing an arm around my shoulders as we stroll through the market. Maybe we've had a conversation.
Maybe we have at this point, and she's going, this is what makes me really happy. And you're going, if that's what makes you truly happy, let me set some specific boundaries and we can do that.
Sure, why
Also,
not?
it does suggest again, we're deciding a height arm around the shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd love her going up on, like, her tippy toes or something so she can get around you, or, like, her arm going up,
I love
a
the
little higher.
like tilted way up, or that sort of thing of it's basically her hand is draped up at your neck because she has to really reach up, so it takes up a lot of her arm.
Right? And I'm not saying that Corazon is significantly taller than her at all, but...
Depends on what Corazon has on their feet.
Oh, it's true, because Corazon do wear heels.
Yes.
As we stroll through the market, most of her family's around us. It makes for quite an intimidating entourage.
It would, except I am more intimidating than all of them.
Yes, it would, actually.
Yes.
Though I'm getting used to them. Though I also partly, like, you wanted to, like, get you involved with the people. You know what you've done? You've surrounded yourself with your goddamn royal-ass family who literally doesn't give a shit about normal
It's okay.
people.
We've reconnected you to the bourgeoisie.
Congratulations, Corazon. Hang on.
Wait, was our goal?
What? It's been a busy month. When we got back to the palace, we had a lot of fires still left to put out.
But not real ones, because the guards took care of those.
Yeah, those were metaphorical
And we
fires.
didn't repair anything.
No.
Because,
Because Nadia hates this thing, so...
Because everyone just does that automatically without direction.
Oh, of course. We've done our best, but there's still a lot of work to do. Still, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. Really?
I see, in a month! Your infrastructure is affected quickly, bro.
Especially considering the fact that Nadia was literally just complaining about the entirety of the city still being a fucking wreck.
I was gonna say, okay, so Mom's there, right, and goes, you know what?
I'm gonna actually give you more resources.
An extended visit.
Vacation.
Allow me to basically levy my significant kingdom-wide resources at you. What are your plans? Great, we'll rebuild that immediately. On the other hand, even if you have a massive workforce, it still takes time to build things.
Oh, of course it
and
does.
to plan for them,
And also,
to cut the stones or acquire
I have
them.
to say, based on just Nadia alone, I highly doubt their culture has, like, a culture that's akin to the work culture of, say, like, China. So the only reason I bring that up is because, so my friend and I, at one point, we were watching TV, and we've brought this up before, but it was a fascinating thing as an American to watch, where there was a literal team of Chinese workers who, in their own country, in about 8 to 9 hours, built an entire train station and laid tracks, and it was completely done.
Yes.
And they were so goddamn well organized that this was, like, particularly noteworthy, which is amazing anyway for us, because we're deeply self-absorbed, so we barely talk about other people.
Additionally, based on my experience with American work culture and having been in manufacturing, which is creating and building and making things,
Right.
We really are very bad at communicating what everyone's individual responsibilities are towards the end goal. We tend to just give those unskilled tiny tasks with no context for the bigger thing. And so if anything isn't perfect, exactly what it was when you were directed to lift this, put it there, then you have nothing you can do. Anyway,
Yes.
everybody knew so much exactly what the project was and exactly what was expected of them, and all of their leaders and directors to handle any sort of challenges were so well organized that they just showed up with every material they needed, did all the work, tidied up, swept the floor of the station, and left. And it was beautiful.
It was amazing.
And it doesn't feel like,
culturally
Nadia
this
has
idea
that
would be there
kind
at
of
all.
connective, organized work culture.
And I think that's indicative that her entire culture overall doesn't really have that. Now, that's not to say that people can't become organized and do things that are unexpected. But I'm also really I don't think they'd be able to, especially with this many different conflicting personalities, even with Mom. I think Mom and Nadia would actually argue a lot.
Interesting question.
What?
So perhaps the Vesuvia that Nadia is in, that she joined and married into, doesn't have that kind of culture. Maybe another part of the kingdom does, and your Empress just requisitions them in with plans and shit to fix things. And
But
part
that's
of Nadia being deeply resistant to her family and not wanting to, quote, be like them or smothered by them, was her, trying to move away from any culture she was connected to. But again, this is so empty as far as that goes. We have no way to understand.
This is just theory crafting.
How this is accomplished.
Yeah,
All right.
so I can see the light, but I'm still just that's ridiculous. See light at what end of the tunnel? I'm sorry, as an adult where I live, I don't see the end of a tunnel anywhere because I'm sorry,
so
shit never ends.
I say literally, the place we're living, it took them 2 years to do a street next to it.
Yeah, 2 years.
Take up the asphalt.
Less than a mile?
Oh yeah, less than a mile.
It's half a mile maybe. That took them 2 years to finish it.
Yep, to just scrape off the old street, flatten it, and put down new street.
I'm just this way. Nadia's family stuck around to help figure things out, though a few had to head home.
I suppose you'll be leaving for Progress soon.
You'll
all be leaving for Progress soon, yes?
Trying to get rid of us, eh?
None of you left Procra or moved anywhere else except for me. Did any of the other ones get involved or married at all? Are they all basically...
All these incredibly hot people who are for some reason completely goddamn single, have no other lives, no lovers, no friends, no partners, no nothing.
Only Mom.
Only Mom.
And Dad. I was gonna say, are all of them completely uninvolved? I'm so self-possessed that I also have no room for connection
or you're all
relationship.
deeply asexual and aromantic?
Only friendships, nothing else.
Whoa.
I don't know, but it's interesting that they wouldn't have partners.
Or prospective partners, especially because we've talked about the Crown Princess, you and I, behind the scenes a couple of times, going wouldn't she potentially have a consort lined up? Or is she investigating consorts?
Because doesn't she need to perpetuate the line?
Or, since she's going to be Crown Princess, that means she is Crown Princess, she's going to inherit after her mom dies.
If they are all older than Nadia, and Nadia is supposedly in her 40s, have none of them had kids? Mom has 7 kids, and not a single one of them wants to follow in her footsteps.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I don't
That
believe it for a
sounds
second.
wild.
Anyway.
Crown Princess, I'm 65. I'll have kids in a few years. Maybe, if I feel like it. If Mom dies. Whoa. Surprisingly, no. You are all welcome to visit. Whenever you like. That wasn't what I said. I mean, stay, as long as you like. There we are.
Everyone looks shocked. Even though this is perfectly reasonable. And sounds completely normal, and also you've spent a lot of time around her at this point, and you seem surprised that she would invite you back, even though she hasn't tried to aggressively kick you out, you all would have already been gone based on your own...
And we already had this large catharsis, we understand we like each other moment.
It's fine. They stop walking, turning to look at Nadia in wonder.
Wait, you're not completely overwhelmed now, still, by any social attachment?
Namar looks like he's going to cry a little bit.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Did you hear that, my angel? Our baby girl wants us to visit.
I freaking love the fabric he is
I
draped
really,
in.
really
the shine, the rainbow shine on it, or whatever, the oil slick shine. It's so fucking pretty.
Yes.
Also, his hair is the most fun.
I really do like it.
Yes.
I really wish the Crown Princess had grey in her hair too, because honestly, you guys should be pretty fucking old at this point.
I was gonna say, where they all had back to back, the oldest one, and I'm the youngest. So you're saying she was pregnant with 7 babies, and you were born last?
Yes.
Oh,
shit. Oh. He's definitely crying now. big tears rolling down his cheeks.
Smearing his eyeliner.
Which sounds like that would be really upsetting for him.
Yeah.
Based on, the level of, like, where they made him a little vain. Corazon going, oh, please, your
Mom,
makeup.
oh, honey, it's waterproof.
Corazon, you're smart.
Yes. Down his cheeks.
Yes.
There, dear. You shouldn't tell him that. Nadia, he will never want to leave. Shouldn't tell him that, Nadia. I'm sorry, I didn't know how to parse that.
No. I have a fashion show next month. I can't miss it. But after that, I'll come back. Nadia smiles softly.
If you want to, Baba, just make sure you don't abandon Kakra forever. Because I never wanted you here ever before, but now you should be here. You have 6 other children, after all.
And no grandchildren, and no great-great-grandchildren, and no cousins, and no siblings, and no... It's fine. No parents of your own.
I find it wild that none of them, given that it looks like all of them are gifted with a uterus, have decided to follow in their parents' footsteps. A lot of people don't have... Oftentimes, the reason generations perpetuate themselves is not just because everyone goes, in natural, I want to have kids, but because... my parents had kids, I want to be like them, or I expect to be like them.
And that was actually, like, what happened in my mom's situation. She actually has specifically talked about it, going like, well, I grew up, with 10 siblings. I wanted you to grow up with basically 10 siblings.
Because I thought, because that's what I was
Because I liked it, and you should have that. I loved it.
And I'm going, none of the other ones moved away from home, and none of them have ever had a relationship that either produced offspring, adopted offspring, anything.
This world sounds incredibly empty to me.
It does.
It's really incredibly hollow.
The rest of the rainbow, after all. Well, about that, actually.
Nadia clears her throat and smooths down her sash, looking around at all of us. Nahara smiles and places a hand fondly on her shoulder, encouraging her.
If it's all right with you, Nadia, I'd like to stay on a more permanent basis. Oh? Vesuvia and Prakra have been strangers for too long. If you'd have me, I'd like to set up an embassy here.
I mean, we're already have...
in your empire, and we don't have an embassy?
Oh my god, especially, like, if you're gonna make a comparison, which some people have, this is supposed to be like Rome, and my whole butt wants to fall off, because I'm like, you would not have something that big and that major, and that you wouldn't have a city-state without an embassy!
But you also have, like, that's literally what Vlastimel's, like...
No,
Valerius's role is, right? Basically, to be an emissary?
And remember we had that long conversation about they apparently just used words?
I was going to say, to be here as a representative of another place, or to be out at other places as a representative of us? It's okay.
I'm tired.
We never have had an embassy here. Maybe this place is fucking new. Like, Lucio was just going, I built this castle, now what? She's like, well... I'll marry you and we'll turn this hovel, this tiny little town...
You seem like a man that I could fix.
This hamlet into a thriving city. Or something?
Which, except that it's not. It's literally a complex, basically, a port. Like, it had to fuck my whole ass. Okay.
Of course. If you say no, I'll just set it up illegally anyway. But...
you can't have an illegal assembly.
You want...
What?
I was gonna say... The thing is, if you set it up, it would be setting it up illegally, being like, I would tell everyone else it was legal and I would set it up legit, but you wouldn't be approving, so it'd be illegal because of you.
Okay.
No one else would know because it'd be in the levels of, like, high states that it would be happening.
Yeah.
If somebody who is one of the princesses of your empire is setting up an embassy, you believe it's legit.
Yeah, no.
You want to stay here in Vesuvia. This trash city. I mean, it's getting better. It's not... too dirty and rowdy for you. She really did this kind of trashy city. Oh my god. Honestly, I kind of like it. Navra and I went on a Navra and I went on a tavern crawl last week. We had a blast. Never been so disgusted and aroused in my life. Oh. Then we'd love to have you. Tikwa? Tika. Thank you.
Adding letters
everywhere, all the time.
Everywhere.
Of course we would. Now, let's stop blocking the walkway. All of you Stop looking at me like that. We weren't walking and talking. We can't walk and talk.
We really can't.
We have to stop and talk. Hey, marketplace!
We keep walking, pausing every now and then to check out another wear. Up ahead, I recognize 2 familiar figures.
Here we go. Yep.
Amelia, don't be shy. They're our friends. Say hi.
That's it. His clothes still haven't changed. Why?
Why?
Do I have to?
I beam as we approach them.
This is hilarious.
Asher pulls me into a casual hug, and I resist taking his clothing off and choking him with it, and then gives Nadia one too.
I resist throwing him onto the dirt. Oh.
Stop touching me.
Astra, Miriam, always good to see you. There is a level of assumption of this deeply affectionate connection despite very little relationship building.
And also, despite very little knowledge, I don't even care, like, about the relationship building part. What weirds me out is because having a relationship building usually means, hi, I know things about you.
Also, I'm going, I get that there's a little bit of, yeah, Astra and I totally shared a bed in a small space, but, like, it never seems like the apprentice in this story is affectionate towards him. Or, like, yes, we're very comfortable with each other, so much as that's an aside that I'll mention. Yeah, poverty culture, you know.
Well, I mean, that part of the thing that makes me laugh is that for me, I just, again, you know how other characters don't exist? Because otherwise then they'd be competing with your main love interest. Like, again, it's like you have no other relationships outside of them. And even your relationship with your main love interest is still sort of, measly at best.
Paltry, you were trying to say.
Paltry. I was going to say palsy because I was confusing them together, but, you know.
Paltry and measly. It's
palsy.
It's the palsy, my friend. It's the palsy.
Corazon, hey.
We got over the plague. Now everyone's got the palsy. Oh.
Yeah.
Astra, Muriel, always good to see you.
How's the shop? Muriel moved into the shop when I moved out to the palace. He's been helping us run everything.
So it was my shop.
Quote.
But I gave it up and gave it to him.
And
Muriel now knows how to run a business.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna say, doing customer service is one, you need to be trained to do it.
With a man who aggressively hates people.
And he hates talking to people.
And who still, as far as I can tell, has a magic fuck spell on him that goes, you will not see me!
You don't remember me?
So you imagine people going there, seeing him turning around in the middle of the shop and then going, why the hell am I here?
Or also every time going, oh look, a shopkeeper! Oh look, a shopkeeper!
Yeah!
A shopkeeper!
Oh my god!
That's fucking hilarious. Well, let's assume that maybe that's been dispelled. For reasons. Let's just say they had an arc over there, okay? And then after that I'm going, Muriel fucking hates people. Why would he get his customer service job? That sounds insane.
This sounds bonkers.
Because this isn't like he's been doing background work. He's been helping Azra run everything. And since Azra never ran the shop himself, it was you as soon as you could, I guess. I imagine it was closed
also apparently
for a while.
It's your shop, despite the fact
you gave it to him. You're very generous.
I've said I moved out to the palace. He's been helping Asra run everything, and they both seem happy together. Well, as happy as Muriel can act.
Can be. Hasn't burned down yet.
We were just stopping by Celestial Soul one last time before you poached him.
Aha.
Behind them, the baker has a name?
Oh my god, I had no idea!
The baker is called Selassie?
That's amazing.
Or is that somebody else?
I don't know.
I need to know. Behind them, the baker clears his throat and folds his arms.
Oh my god, the baker has a fucking name!
Wait, what?
Oh my god! Wait, what?
Just because Milady offered me a job as procurator doesn't mean I'm going to stop baking.
The pumpkin bread seller is qualified to be a procurator?
Also, I'm gonna die.
The baker?
Also, he has a name.
Yes, he does.
Why did we never use his name in the other? They came up with it later.
I'm imagining they came up with it later.
But also, it never showed up in Julian's route, so when did they write these routes?
It doesn't... Okay, so the thing is we've known that guy forever.
Yes.
Why wouldn't we use his name? Why would we call him the pumpkin bread seller?
But that's why I was annoyed.
So weird.
That's why I'm annoyed about Julian's route, because we just call him the pumpkin bread seller.
Also, at the beginning of this route, same thing. Yeah.
When did they come up with this name? When were they writing these? Oh my god!
Okay, hang on. You see him in the prologue, not in anybody's route.
Yes.
So the prologue was probably written first as a pitch for the game during the Kickstarter.
Oh, shit.
And they probably didn't have his name and they never went back. I never went back to go, you actually know this guy because you've grown up for the last 3 years around him.
Oh, and only probably in this route, since you actually come here, unlike in Julian's route. Okay. And then they gave him a name maybe in this one?
They should have gone back. They should have gone back
Unless
to the prologue.
he has a name in Asra's route. So, like, they did Asra first, and then they probably did Nadia, and then they did Julian.
It doesn't matter which routes they did first.
I know.
It's just that the prologue, he didn't have a name.
No.
Sort of like they were like, they want you to, at one point, like, guess people, not guess people's genders.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So, like, the thing with the prologue, they wrote the prologue first, but then you write Asra next, because next, that's this the one. So, Selassie might be a name in that one.
It might be. It might
also,
be
they might have been writing them all simultaneously at the same time, so who knows.
Right.
I'm going to stop baking. You had better quit acting like I'm dying.
Oh, no. I suppose you'll just have to come visit the palace if you want your bread fix. What?
Oh, it's to Muriel and Asra. Oh, no! Whatever will we do? That sounds terrible.
It doesn't sound that bad.
It's called sarcasm.
As long as we can leave when we like, no courtiers bother us. Wait,
And no courtiers bother us.
you guys are supposed to be Oh, right. So if we go there to buy bread...
Or just go get bread, because if you're going to hire him and he's going to still make bread, even though he's going to be busy being... Okay.
He won't hawk it in the market, though. He's going to have to stop selling it in the market or have someone else do it for him.
Yeah.
He's going to have to learn to delegate, which Nadia's really bad at. That might be difficult.
Yeah, it'd be a problem.
All right. And no courtiers bother us.
Oh, that reminds me. What happened to the old procurator?
You wouldn't know, I guess. Volta. I offered her a job as my official taste tester.
Her a job.
Yes. I've never seen someone pack away as much food as her. It's impressive. Natiko keeps talking about challenging her to a biting contest.
Natika.
Sorry.
Natikwa.
I can do it. I can't do it. Tika, you'll die. Then I'll die happy and full of pie. Is there a better way to go?
Oh, hey, is that Ilya and Mazelinka over there?
Did we ever learn his name was Ilya in this route?
Nope.
So do we know who that is?
Nope.
Okay.
It is. Julian and Mazelinka are at the stall, bickering like only family can.
1, you're spoiling their family. 2, because that was actually a big thing.
We also never met Mazelinka in this route at all.
So we're
going. This thing. So we're saying that we met them over the past month.
But also,
and somehow we've speed ran to Julian, going, "Hi, by the way, my name is Ilyushka."
So the thing is going. If I'm a player and I've never played any other route and I'm playing this one, and the way they do grammar and references to people and where they are in a conversation, and the way they sometimes sort of drop the subject, if you say, hey, there's Ilya and this person, and then you go Julian and Mazelinka, then you could be like, oh, it's 3 or 4 people.
Yes.
Different people.
Yeah.
Because I have no connection to who these are if I'm a player playing this first.
Yeah.
Only family can.
I just don't see how it's magic, Maz. It's just dirt.
Boy, if I have to explain potion making to you one more time. Countess, good to see you. Come to take this nuisance off my hands.
I'm not a nuisance.
You see what I mean.
Just because you're short.
He's shading my light. I'm trying to get a tan.
She's like, I don't bring out an umbrella. I bring out Julian.
He's blocking my light. I cannot get a good look at the wares.
Mazelinka is Portia and Julian's honorary grandmother.
That's a nice piece of explanation. Thanks.
Thanks. I'm not really sure of the details, but they seem quite close.
Okay.
In fact, she's begun stopping by for dinner at Portia's every week.
For me, I would be like, so who's Ilya? Where'd they go? Like, since we don't know that name, maybe it was in a premium scene in this route somewhere.
Maybe.
Because we don't.
But also, again, if you're like, I couldn't afford it.
Or I didn't buy it because it didn't fit my character.
Right.
Then you wouldn't know that. So this is, again, I'm going, to me, if I didn't know that, if I'd played this first or hadn't learned it in another route, I wouldn't know who Ilya is, and I would wonder who the hell they had referred to, and going, I guess there was a person over there that isn't relevant to this conversation.
Yeah, this is baffling. Every week. She's got a fiery temper, and she's good at keeping Julian in line.
We wouldn't know much about him being... We wouldn't know much about him being out of line.
Yeah,
because we don't know him.
Okay, so the other thing is, too, is, like, keeping him in line. What we've seen so far in this route, that actually he's been very obedient, and for the most part, he hasn't been doing a lot of shit.
I guess he forgot what he was doing, like, one time, and we're like, you're not having a low profile, but that's it.
But I feel like that's not indicative of keeping him in line.
Shrug.
I'm also like, why are we still doing the thing of going like, he's a man? Oh, they're all man-children. What am I saying? Anyway, Nadia already adores her. Hello, Countess Corazon? Not Countess Corazon, as my initial reaction was. Sorry!
Hello, Julian. Mazelinka. We were just passing through. Don't let me interrupt your conversation. I shall see you tomorrow for the architectural review. Yes? Which one of them knows architecture?
We're talking about... I'm sorry, my whole brain is going, Mazelinka, architect. Who the fuck are we talking? Wouldn't miss it for the world, Countess!
Wait,
also, like,
does he know architecture?
I don't know.
That's okay.
I make, like, if you're implying that I know architecture, shit, man.
Are you a doctor as well as a, an architect? Are you a historical architect?
Oh my god! Oh god, sorry, it was a roleplay reference. Okay, Countess! Goddamn! Julian's been working with Nadia to overhaul the aqueducts in the city! What?
Oh, he knows about infrastructure. He knows about stonework and about water flow and about, like, okay, so aqueducts are a big deal. You need to know a lot about slope and incline and erosion and all kinds of
They
great
were
stuff.
actually considered to be fucking marvels. Like, even by professional modern-day engineers.
Yes, it's okay.
They could get water to go places it wasn't supposed to go just by pure gravity.
He's a fucking like engineer now. In his spare time, while he was going to doctor college, he got to be an engineer.
I feel like I'm gonna have a fight about. I'm fine.
You're gonna bust a nerve. It's fine.
We excuse ourselves and keep walking until Nadia stops, raising an eyebrow. We
all
all can stop.
I have to say,
Her
it's
eyebrow's
very
really
interesting that neither he nor Mazelinka acknowledge the Empress. Their Empress.
I'm sorry, there's so much going on. I can only get pissed at so many things.
It's true. I do believe that is Valerius over there. Quite a busy day at the market,
It is. He is arguing loudly with someone over the price of custom wine bottles.
As opposed to mass-produced ones? Do we have mass-produced ones? Do we have manufacturing? Sorry.
What?
Partial retirement is doing wonders for him. I hope he's enjoying his winery.
She bars her lips to call out to him when a figure rushes up to us in a dizzy, out of breath.
I was gonna say, it's Portia!
It is Portia.
She's the only one that does that.
My lady, there you are. I'm really sorry about this, but the court is causing a fuss.
I seriously want everyone, my lady! Hello, Empress. There's this thing!
I know, because we're all ignoring. I'm like, it's fine. They
It's a
cannot have
fucking
multiple characters
Empress.
in one
Okay,
scene.
okay.
At least it's better than that one romance book I read.
This is okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Causing a fuss. They're complaining about your festival plans.
Of course they are. I assume they want to paint the balls blue, not lilac. Make it pink! No blue, no pink!
How'd you guess? Well,
It's a
because you
tradition.
see, it's a tradition, and I'm trying to piss on them and their tradition.
Just a hunch. But, Portia, you should really take a break. You've been working too hard.
It's true. Portia was promoted to Chamberlain a week ago.
Oh, God.
What?
Does she have the skills for that job? What does that job entail?
Turned out she's been rushing back and forth non-stop since then.
Since she also doesn't know how to delegate.
Yes, Portia. Come, walk with us. There's still plenty more to do here.
And you haven't acknowledged your Empress yet.
Oh, not even slightly. Portia splutters a little, cheeks going bright red because big buff lesbian. Nahara, I didn't see you there. I guess I could take a little extra time if it's okay with you, my lady.
Your sister is freaking hot!
Nadia smiles and looks over at me.
What do you think, Corson? Shall we stay a little longer, or go back?
If this is another premium scene, I am going to head...
Oh my god. In the 11th hour.
I
thought we were gonna be done! I thought we could just finish it with this episode.
Okay, so we're gonna have to actually stop here because I was continuing because I thought it would be done. I'm gonna go beat my head into a wall.
So the next episode might be kind of short, depending on things, but the thing is we need to wrap it up right here, guys. It's been so lovely having you. So
Thank you very much for joining us and ignoring the Empress and her consort. It's been a great time.
It has.
If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Also interact with the video, please. It does a lot for us in regards to YouTube algorithm. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi, Patreon, and our Twitch. There are some links in the description down below, and we'd love to see you there. And I've been Scandal.
Thank you so much for your comments. When you leave them,
They
we
give us
love
so
them.
much life.
I just say they give us life. They fuel us. Even when we don't get a chance to respond, because we're not always in the same place at the same time, and we
Yes.
like to respond together. It's fabulous. Thank you so much. And I have been Liz.
And it was great playing with you. Bye-bye.
Bye!